Black Magic Sorcerer here, and we are finishing up our Venus Sphere adventure. I just wanted to give a quick account of what I experienced upon entering the gate. The Empress, obviously, as I entered the gate, I entered a world basically similar to this. Very lush, very moist, very abundant. Trees that have fruit that's just riper than ripe, etc., etc. Basically, Garden of Eden, right? So, there's all this beauty, and there's a stream that goes through it. But in the distance, I see like a hill or a mountain that has a big dark cave. And in this dark cave, I entered. So, not knowing what to expect from what I found in the darkness, basically what I happened upon was this lake, the same stream, I think, here that you see going into the back of the picture, but it was full of purple, sort of purplish, pinkish, radiant, liquid energy that flowed through this cave. And amongst the darkness were bodies in an orgy like situation, no faces, just body parts in a writhing, almost snake-like Slytherin kind of human being type scenario. So what did I do? I just observed. I didn't try to interact. It was more of a first-person view, I guess you would say. Purely observing. So I kind of got out of that nightmare lust zone and came back out through the cave. Surprised I didn't try to do something with the water, but then I realized I needed to exit the gate, so I exited the gate, asked if the gate was open or if I needed to shut it. They said yes, you need to shut it. So I metaphorically shut this gate just by making, like, in the Golden Dawn, it's like a veil you're opening and then this motion to shut. And I clapped my hands like that, and I felt like the gate shut. Empress represented Carrie, this represented me. So what I tried to do is pull us both very strongly towards this current. So how did I make that connection? For me is when I was doing Reiki the other day on you, I was thinking, Han Shonje Shonyen, this complex symbol that we use to send distance Reiki, I've always felt like it's just something to flip a switch that reminds you can send distance Reiki. I don't know if that makes sense, but as I kind of thought about what these symbols do when you trace them in the air, you're tracing them in the astral, and then they become alive. And there's something about these symbols that reminded me of the similar kinds of stuff that's on the gate. And it sort of makes sense that Reiki would be associated with Venus, considering the love aspect of Reiki, the healing and love aspect. It's funny because as I gaze down at the Empress card, it's almost like she's cooing at me and beckoning me to come back. I don't know what that's about. But anyway, Han Shouji Shonyen is traced out in a certain way to activate that symbol so it turns on the connection between you and who you're trying to send the Reiki to. I understand that, but I just totally, I don't know if it's just my intuition or maybe I have a little natural healer in me, but I don't feel like it's even necessary to use Hanshoje. I find that I try to more visualize it than trace it. Tracing it is good, but I feel like I get lost in the tracing of the complex symbol opposed to just gazing into the symbol and turning on and activating that current by having a better visualization by being able to just look at it. I almost wish I had it tattooed on my wrist, you know, it'd be like the perfect thing for a Reiki healer. Reiki tattoos are a whole other subject. I looked into that, and apparently where you put something like a Reiki symbol, even like a chakra ray, if you put that on a certain part of your body, it will do something to that part of your body, or it will affect your whole being, just having it in your sphere of influence. So Reiki is a very basic level energy work, and I love this because really this should be like the first book an occult student gets. All right, fuck this bullshit, put your black robe away for a minute, master this, then everything else that comes after will make sense. And the reason I feel so strongly about that is in magic, everything is about moving or connecting to energy, pulling and drinking someone's energy, throwing energy, making energy have a certain flavor to it, like energy to punish, energy to heal, energy, energy, energy. Where it comes from, the sources we use, that's essentially what magic is made of. So this Venus sphere was very enlightening to me in that I think we have to learn to look at both sides of our, I guess you would say, sexuality and spiritual energy, which is whatever your abundance is when it comes to your pleasure. Let's say that your pleasure is reading a book. Having an abundance of books for you to study and read is basically your pleasure. And we connect to everything sexually. So I find it much easier to connect to females, especially ones that I don't know. Not necessarily because I find them attractive or not either. It has nothing to do with that, but it would be like, I don't know what it is, but there's an instant something in me that wants to connect to a female much easier than a male. I feel like when I'm connected to another male, it's like, you gotta be kind of a special person for me to want to connect to your energy. I just don't like an abundance of male energy. I just like female energy, I always have. And that's probably why I've always been with women. I have a very lighthearted take on sexuality. I think that people are just sexual, and I think that people have a lot of problems associated with their sex and sexuality, and I think magic can really help you explore that. On the one hand, you have a very pure motherly figure who has a little bit of seductiveness to her. She's a beautiful woman, but in the background you have a cave that represents her dark side. The dark side of Venus. When Venus is not being enlightened, Venus has a side that is dark. Same for the planet, same for the Venus current. So that sparkly energy I saw in that lake that went through the cave next to an orgy, I believe that was like etheric Venus energy, like sex and love mixed all up and charged with the energy of life and newness and put into liquid energy form. Like you could drink it like a fucking energy drink. That's what I felt the urge to do, but did not do it. And the reason I didn't is because I know that now, since I've entered the gate and came back out of the gate, I know that I can go back and enter as I please. So that's the one thing I learned from this, is that if you master the gate and you truly make yourself connect and disconnect from it, then it feels like you can revisit these spheres anytime you want, and it's not a very difficult task to do so because of it. So anyway, Reiki coming your way, and dark blessings, my friends. Thank you for your subscriptions, all your tuning in, and we got a hungry snake out there for any of you who have a little so-and-so that may need a little cursing. So keep that in mind for future snake mills. Dark blessings, my friends.